Good morning and welcome to the program, The Agenda. Like we discussed and talked about last week, we said the agenda would always come at 9 o'clock every Thursday on Invicta 98.9. And it will be same this morning. And we're talking about governance, politics, and of course, creating awareness and getting you informed about what needs to be done and preparation for 2023 elections. Your role in all of it, we'll discuss, we'll talk about that. This program is a sponsored program by the Partnership for Issues-Based Campaigns in Nigeria and partnering with Invicta Radio 98.9. Already in the studios with me, I have Yusuf Goje and Lawrence Obewe, all of the Partnership for Issue-Based Campaigns in Nigeria. All with me. Good morning, gentlemen. Glad to have you here.
Good morning, listeners.
Yes.
Good morning.
All right. This morning we'll also be, we'll be joined by, we are already here, I would say, Abdul Samad Chima Amadi. Is the spokesperson for the Kaduna response team of the Ubasani campaign. Welcome and glad to have you in our studios.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good morning, listeners.
Okay. And I'm sure that Abdul Bako, or,
Yes,
we hope to be
we're
getting
trying to
him.
connect.
Yes, we'll connect him on phone to talk into the program this morning. And the gentleman by my.
You introduce yourself.
Yes, please.
My name is Ibrahim Ilya, IBI.
Okay.
Yes.
Ibrahim Ilya. All right. Ibrahim Ilya will giving us an update on the, electoral update. Matter of fact, that's what he'll be doing for us this morning. And so
Yes.
it's a jam-packed program, and thank God that we have enough time to discuss on issues this morning. But let me first just start and just getting these from the Partnership for Issue-Based Campaigns in Nigeria and what, we'll be looking at. And, of course, arrangements for today on the program. Let me start with you, Suboji.
All right. Good morning, listeners. Thank you for joining us again this morning. Like we have promoted, we are looking forward to have a conversation around critical issues that will shape the 2023 elections, and we had penciled down the number of critical stakeholders like Senator Shehu Sani, Nasir Jagaba, and Honorable Abdul Samad Chima Amadi to share some of these conversations. So currently, some of our guests are yet to connect with us, but we hope Abdul Bako would also be here to share this conversation. And basically, it's just to look at the issues. We know during elections, most times it's all about the rally, the slogans, and all the other noise. But we really want to sieve out what should Nigerians and the electorates in general really focus on. And those things should shape the kind of conversations that our political candidates or presidential or gubernatorial candidates should be discussing as regards the security and welfare of Nigerians. And so basically that is what we'll be looking out for. We'll look at some of the trending issues. We'll also look at some of the critical issues. We would have electoral updates to know what is happening around the continuous voters registration, and basically to have an in-depth discussion so that we can begin to shape the agenda for both candidates and their campaign teams to really ponder upon, and it should be the basis upon which Nigerians should finally decide who they should vote based on these critical issues. Thank you.
Lawrence Obewe, more than any other time, and again, this may just be a little different from the elections that we've had in the past. I'm talking about the overheated, as it is, the polity being overheated, and overheated in the sense that 2023 is seen as a year, some people would say, that may make or mar in this great country. And for some people, analysts too, they've seen Nigeria as at the brink. And are we going to have a little shove to, get Nigeria down the valley, or, rescue it from going down the cliff, whatever way you want to put it. But again, Muslim ticket, insecurity, that some of which Yusuf Goje had mentioned, all of these come into play in preparation for 2023. We're having unemployment on the high, economy not doing well. petrol as it is today is, on the high. Electricity, Nigerians just have, the stories to tell about how the atmosphere is not just favorable enough for us. And so the politics is getting overheated. Should we have gotten ourselves here, where we are with the polity today?
Thank you for having me this morning. I think that it's not a small shift. It's actually a very big shift. I think that 2023 will be the defining moment of Nigeria. We've come a long way, and as you have itemized, the issues are all cut out. So, again, the power is on the citizenry. I think it's the citizens of Nigeria, and that's why this show is very important, because now you begin to highlight what the issues are, what the programs are. And the decision to make in 2023 belongs to the citizen. And that's the sovereignty of Nigeria, because the power belongs to the people. So we look forward to it. I'm excited about it. I know Nigerians are excited about it. And I know that everybody in the studio is
I like this angle
excited.
of the citizens. That it's time for the citizens to really show their power, their might. Depending the choices they make, would determine that. But going back again to elections that we've had, why the citizens left out or shortchanged in decision taking?
I think that before now you've had serious apathy on the part of the citizens. They rarely wanted to get involved. But if you look at in the build up to 2023, I think that the INEC sensitization team will tell us that the conscientization is there. People are eager to participate in this election. We've seen a spiral growth in the registration of citizens who are intending to vote. So the enthusiasm is there. And I don't think that you can go very far to find out what the reasons are. You have the insecurity. As we speak today, students are home, as is on strike. You have the economy not doing very well. All these are at the federal level. So it's touching the average citizen. We continue to talk about some of the issues that are, for me, less relevant, whether it's Muslim ticket, whether it's Muslim ticket, whether it's Christian. I think that those are not the issue. Why? Because the politicians will always be the politicians. They choose what they want to do. But I think the power to decide whether you're comfortable or not with policies, with programs, with decisions of politicians belong to the people. And I think the conversation should move from politicians to the people. And that's the beauty of what we are doing here, is the fact that you bring politicians to come and sell their ideas. Then the citizens who are listening are able to make up their mind. So I don't think that it's going to be what we used to have. I think we've left that part, and we know that Nigeria probably have just one more chance to be able to put Nigeria back on the track of development, and that's 2023, and that's why everybody's looking to us.
Yusuf Goje, we have Abdulsamad Chima Amadi, spokesperson for the Kaduna response team of the Ubasani campaign. Again, he's with us in the studios. I'm sure that we all know Ubasani, Senator Ubasani, and then we know that he's really getting ready. The whole thing is getting hot up about taking the reins of leadership from Malam Nasir El-Rufai. We're going to come to him, and preparation, what the attention of Ubasani would be, what he wants for the people of Kaduna and all of that. But just before that, let's have an electoral update, and let me come to Ibrahim, Ilya on that.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. All right. So far so good. We started an initiative. We call it Kaduna PVC Concert. The whole idea is just to push the people to be able to do their PVCs, because why we came up with this idea is I was actually at INEC office, that's the one in Kujama, and the crowd I saw there, the way people were pushing to register, I was like, wow, this is serious. That means people want to do this, but they don't just know how to do it. So that was where the whole idea came up. And so far so good. I think within a month, I've traveled to some local governments in Kaduna that have not been, and we have been to Zaria. We did sensitization there. Some of them actually, there are some people that they register twice without knowing. So we make sure we told them that this, INEC do cleansing, yes, and when that period of cleansing comes, they will actually, if you are registering 2 times, they might remove the 2. Yes, so it's best you don't even go, because they use thumbprint, so it's best you don't even try it. So we make sure we sensitize them, we tell them the do and don'ts. And we went to Kafanchan, the same thing. We went to Kwai, the same thing. Sabon Tesha here, and surprisingly, all this while we have registered close to, let's say, 3,000 to 4,000 people. The transfer, there were more polling units now, and people, it's best actually to have to vote close to your house, because of all these transportation, restrictions and all. So we try to sensitize them to move, to transfer their polling units to the closest they could have. And all those things, I think, so far so good. Even INEC released their data. That's for 11th of July. I think Kaduna will have almost 360 something thousand people that register within that week, which is massive. The thing is, people are registering late. People are registering late, and now if you see the rush, everybody wants to register because of, I think the system has changed. The system has changed these days.
But you're impressed. You're getting impressed.
I'm very happy.
Okay, shows that Nigerians are really ready, and of course, making choices of candidates and parties. All coming to the fore.
Yeah.
Well, right now again, still on the the PVC concert.
Yes, sir.
The whole idea came about. How did you come about that?
I'm an entertainer. Like I'm an artist. I rap, I sing. So I just found out that the youths, any you must use a strategy to get somebody.
Yeah.
Yes. If it's an older person, you use a strategy for the older people. If the younger ones, like our people, they love entertainment. So we try to use that strategy of entertainment to get them. And we are still planning because we're thinking of doing a football match, a PVC football match. We're still thinking of doing even this Dembe, because the people in Zaria, for example, or the North, the deep North, most of them, there are some spots they are good with.
Yeah.
They love. So we want to use that to grab them. And the religious places like the church, the mosques, we usually go to such places to actually talk with the head if they can also help, because getting your voter's card is the number one thing as a citizen. You should just have it. But most people, imagine a graduate not having a voter's card. It's surprisingly, like, it doesn't even make sense. So we try to make them have it. Like, it's compulsory. It's very important. So when they have it, that's the number one thing. The second one, because when we finish this, them having it, we'll go to the stage of how to even select a good leader, how to go and use it. Because seriously, I have some of my friends that are telling me, election day, I'm just going to be chilling at home. Like, I'm just going to be watching football at home. I'm not going to stress myself because it's not going to count. That's the mentality. So sensitizing them, we're trying to tell them that this time around, it will count. Election will count, because the INEC new electoral laws are actually is good for now, because even the voting, they said at the polling unit, the server is going to pick the result, which it's perfect. So that's, for now, I think that's it.
Can you just talk, just a little bit of it, just chip in a little bit of what your challenges have been, what you faced.
Okay, so far so good. We have done a couple of concerts. We have done one in Zaria, we have done one in Mando, Sabo, Kwai, Kafanchang. We just go with our music, with everything. We make sure we talk to INEC and they give us the machine. They get the machine ready for us. So when we come, those people that are in the line, we have the performing artists there. They just perform and registration is going on. So they don't feel tired staying there. So we just mix it up, and I think so far so good. It's moving perfectly. But the challenges are some places, now the security challenges, the money. Now let's talk about that one, Sha. Because so far so good. I think I use money from my pocket. Let me just use that. No sponsorship, nothing. Why I'm doing this is because I feel it's time for me to give back to my own community. In a way, if we have a lot of people that will do that, I think we won't be where we are. Yes, because I think I've always not involved myself in politics those days. Why? Is because I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. So when I came in and then I understood that politics is, everybody should get involved. In a way, if we want to change something, everybody should get involved. So that's why I understood the whole thing, and right now we are pushing.
Okay. So to all the citizens out there, it's time for you to play your part.
Play your part.
All right. Okay. The agenda, that's the program this morning, and I'm sure that would want to take an update on. Yes, what we'll do now for this segment will be a commentary on. The commentary on the agenda. So you just my colleague in studios with me, Job Daniels. So what's the commentary about?
All right, the commentary says 2023 elections, identity politics versus developmental issues with the conclusion of the party primaries by political parties and emergence of candidates, as well as the ongoing selection of running mates, divisive politics has reared its ugly head with the selection of same religion running mates by the All Progressives Congress APC presidential and gubernatorial candidates in Kaduna, popularly now known as Muslim ticket. These decisions have elicited passionate debates on the desirability or otherwise, the leading arguments being put forth by the proponents in the 1992 annulled election of the Abiola Kingibe, a Muslim ticket, competence of the candidate and his running mates above ethno-religious sensitivity, the need to win elections first before any other consideration, and the other previously Muslim-Christian or Christian-Muslim pairing has not been successfully addressed. Our challenges to justify it. Critics of the decision have argued on the side of equity, justice, and fairness, so also peace, unity, and stability. More so that it has become the norm rather than the exception to have a Christian running mate whenever there's a Muslim candidate, and vice versa. In addition, some argue that the incumbent party have nothing much to show, hence the resort to using religion and symbolically choose Salah Day to make the announcement to win sympathy votes. As history has shown, religion and politics are inseparable. The current upheaval of the choice of Muslim ticket by the APC is understandable, considering that the seed of divide and rule using identity politics was sown by the colonialists, inherited and watered by our political elites. However, the critical question to ask is, should we elevate the decision of one political party to fly a Muslim ticket in a country with 18 political parties to a national discourse in the face of overwhelming challenges of worsening insecurity, rising poverty, unemployment, biting hunger, inflation, dwindling revenue, high indebtedness, and so on? Needless to remind Nigerians that the negative impact of the mentioned challenges to not select its victims based on religion, ethnicity, or region. Come 2023, the ball will be in the courts of Nigerians to determine who they will vote for, either on the basis of candidates' religion, capacity to address our challenges, or both. Indeed, the 2023 elections will be a competition between religion versus developmental issues. No doubt, religion will surely play a critical role in the forthcoming elections, and so also should the track record, manifestos, and capacity of the candidates to deliver. Finally, the rhetorical question before our politicians is, should they be thinking of the next election or generation?
Wow, that was the commentary there on way we're going about it. Job Daniel, with that. I took some things away. There are takeaways from this commentary for me, and these takeaways are, based, we've seen this, religion and developmental issues, one of them. But let me come to you, Goji, before we bring in our guest on this program. I'm sure that by the time we go on a commercial break, okay, let's go there. And then when we come back,
we'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Are you serious? Victor FM.
Honey, must you go?
Babe, you know I must. Besides, you can always video call me.
Hey, what if your battery runs out?
I've got my power bank.
Hey, and when your power bank runs out?
Babe, I've got my laptop.
Okay, wait. What if your data runs out?
Babe, you know we never run out of data.
Never run out of data with Airtel Home Broadband Unlimited Ultra plans. Enjoy unlimited data with no speed cap plus extra data daily, so you never have to worry about running out. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to get started.
Babe, but I just left the house.
Yes, honey. It's video calling all the way.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Taste it, love it. It's a beautiful day. You better taste it, love it.
Enjoy the creamy coffee taste of Cowbell Coffee. Round the clock, it's really delicious. Taste it and you will love it. Cowbell Coffee. Taste the creamy side of coffee.
Now available in multi-pack pouches at 750 naira only. injin mota da baya samun kula yakan tsufa da wuri. Shi yasa injiniyoyin mu suka kirkiro man injin Quartz tare da fasahar jure shekaru, wato age resistant technology. Wannan muhimmin ci gaba ne wanda ke tabbatar da kyakkyawan aiki da kariya daga lalacewar inji har zuwa 74 cikin 100. Zaɓin mai inji na Quartz shine zaɓen man da ke rike inji kamar sabo na tsawon lokaci. Quartz Mega Promo da Total Energies na ba da damar iya samun kyaututtuka idan kuka sayi man injin Quartz na lita 4 ko lita 5. Akwai kyaututtuka da yawa za a iya samu a wannan gasar har ma da sabuwar mota. Ziyarci kowane gidan man fetur na Total Energies ko masu izinin sayar da man Quartz don shiga. Wannan gasar za ta fara daga 1 ga watan Yuli zuwa 31 ga watan Agustan 2022. Akwai ka'idoji da matakan gasar.
Whenever you hear welcome to Big Brother House, just know say the #1 show for Africa don't land o, and this season 7 now up we dey go. The drama and basketball no be here, now entertainment all the way. What did you ask? No hiding place for Biggie House. The camera day on the action 247 live for 72 days. Now time to watch who go be the king or queen of BB Niger season 7 on Top Go TV.
Yes, so don't miss this BB Niger season 7 launch weekend. We go shell it for the 23rd and 24th of July by 7 p.m. on Top Go TV channel 29. Reconnect your Go TV today or get a decoder plus 1 month max subscription for 6,900 naira. Pere headline sponsor, Pocket by Piggyvest. Associate sponsor, Flutterwave.
Power and performance. That's what you get in every So Clean concentrated detergent pack. Power and performance. The essence of Paris Saint-Germain. With the concentration of powerhouse players, Kylian Mbappe, Neymar Jr., Lionel Messi, Sergio Ramos, and Achraf Hakimi. The partnership of concentrated power now forged. So Clean, the official regional partner of Paris Saint-Germain.
Power oil, power oil. Bunga cooking oil, we get different sizes and different packs. Oh, power oil, power oil. The one way they sweet me na mini pack 400 naira. Yeah. Power oil, power oil. Everywhere. Power oil, good for your heart. Power oil. No cholesterol. Power oil, no trans fat. Power oil. And people who listen to your heart use power oil. Power oil, power oil. Power oil.
Yalla bai, barka da yamma. Da daren nan? To shikenan. Ba komai, ba komai. Ku dakata, ku dakata. Yau fa ba fa tashi sai mun gama aikin nan. Da daren nan? To me zai hana mu warware hanji da ganyen shayin top tea mu ji daɗi. Ganyen shayin top tea ɗaya kacal mai inganci da ɗanɗano zai baka kofin shayi kwarara biyu. Sai a ɗanɗana domin gane kamshi na kwarai da nishaɗi, zamantakewa da kuma ɗaukaka. Ɗanɗana domin sanin top tea. Shin an yanke layinka ne sakamakon rashin haɗa katin shaidar ka ta National Identification Number NIN da layinka na MTN? Karka damu, idan har kana da NIN ga hanyoyi mafi sauki da zaka bi. Na ɗaya, danna *785#. Na biyu, rubuta National Identification Number ɗinka wato NIN ta text zuwa 785. Na uku, ziyarci manhajar My MTN NG app. Na hudu, ka tattauna da Ziggy a lambar WhatsApp 090300000001. Na biyar, shiga www.mtn.ng. Idan kuma baka da katin shaidar ɗan ƙasa wato NIN, kai tattaki zuwa shagon MTN ko ofishin NIMC na kusa da kai. Ko kuma ka shiga shafin MTN a baka ranar zuwa. Maza abi ɗaya daga cikin matakan nan da wurwuri, damar tana nan har yanzu ba. Ma tambaye ku, shin yau me za mu yi ne?
The families of late Alhaji Shuaib Adesanya and that of Supul Haruna Garba, Turakin Sabon garin Rigasa, cordially invites friends and relatives to the wedding fatiha of their children, Abdulazim Adesanya and his bride Nana Firdausi Haruna, which will inshallah take place on Saturday 23rd July 2022 at number 7 Nuhu Wali Street, Makarfi Road, Rigasa, Kaduna. Time 11 a.m. prompt. Come one, come all. Announcer, bride and groom's family.
Agenda.
The Agenda is a public enlightenment program designed to give power back to the people through promoting political participation, issue-based campaigns, and social accountability. The Agenda is a weekly program of active citizens by active citizens for all citizens, featuring in-depth analysis, news commentary, and issue-based interviews with stakeholders in governance and electoral process. The Agenda is about you, the listener, your power to determine who leads you, setting the agenda for public office seekers and holding them accountable. The Agenda, mobilizing citizens to meaningfully engage the 2023 general elections by making sure those seeking their votes have real intentions of true representatives. Tune in every Thursdays at 9 a.m. on Invicta FM 98.9. Join the conversation via phone-in and comments on our social media handles. Powered by Partnership for Issue-Based Campaigns in Nigeria, PICAN, and Invicta FM 98.9, Kaduna. The Agenda. Nigeria, my agenda.
Welcome back. Is the agenda that's on now on Invicta 98.9, and it is powered by issue-based campaigns in Nigeria and Invicta Radio. And now we come into it. The heat of the moment is here with us now, and I just introduced as my guest this morning on the program, Abdulsamad Chima Amadi. He is the spokesperson for the Kaduna Response Team of Ubasani. And of course, we do know what Senator Ubasani gone in to be the governor of the state. But let me come to you, Yusuf Goji. Yeah. Take the first salvo, on the Samad Chima Amadi as the spokesperson for the Kaduna Response Team of Ubasani campaign. Let's hear you.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, listeners, again. Just to say that we wanted this conversation to be a balanced conversation, and we had invited some other guests so that we have an all-round view of these critical issues. So while we wait on that, we'll quickly begin the conversation with our guest who is here in the studio. We can't start this conversation without talking about the burning issue, and which our commentary speaks to. But basically, I want to take it from the angle, because one of the things we want to do, we don't want to discuss personalities and all of we want to look at the real issues. And all of those issues. And so, but we can't take away religion from our society and the role it plays in all other sectors. But I want to just bring our attention to a section of the 1999 Constitution, which will lead to the question I want to ask you, particularly around the Muslim ticket. Section 14, subsection 3, says that the composition of the government of the Federation and any of its agencies and the conduct of its affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity and also to command national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there should be no predominance of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sectional groups in that government or of its agency. Then 4 further states that the composition of the government of a state, local government council, or any of the agencies of such government or council shall carry out in such a manner as to recognize the diversity of the people within its area of authority and the need to promote a sense of belonging and loyalty among the people of the Federation. So this is actually the Constitution giving us an idea of what should shape how government is being put together. So why we are bringing this, so that we take it from the constitutional point of view, do you think that the selection of the Muslim ticket by your presidential candidate in terms of picking his running mate, and also by your immediate principal here in terms of the Muslim ticket, reflects section 14, subsection 3 and 4 of the 1999 Constitution? So we want to hear your thoughts on that.
Thank you very much once again for having me. You see, most of these issues you raised You know, when you discuss these constitutions with the laws of the land, you know, people interpret it from the area it suits them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm happy while you were reading the contents of that constitution, I was listening. I wanted to hear where they talked about religion. But I knew they talked about ethnicity, region, stuff like that. But I was listening to hear if there was a place they talked about religion. And there was nothing like that. And we all believe that issues about religion are personal issues. It's just that some people decided to elevate it above where it's supposed to be. Religion should be something between yourself and your God. It shouldn't be an issue in governance. Like while you were running the commentary, they were talking about, is it religion or is it capacity, is it productivity that we're talking about? So when you talk about the constitution, talking about inclusiveness, talking about for instance, let me start from the top. The president is our presidential candidate is from the south, the southwest to be precise, and now his running mate is from the northeast. Now, why not instead of thinking of it, looking at it from the religious aspect of view, why not look at it from the fact that the northeast has never been represented fully in the presidency, apart from probably Atiku that was there and that didn't have the chance to go for to be the substantive presidential candidate. We are now offering the northeast an opportunity. That's part of the inclusiveness that we're talking about. And you come down to the state here. You see, the funny thing about that of Kaduna State is that people are not even talking about the gender issue, about the deputy governor. The first time we're having a female deputy governor in Kaduna State.
Under a democracy.
Under a democracy, thank you. People are not even looking at it from that. That's why I tell you that people they sort of talk about these issues the way it suits them. The government of the day should be applauded for being gender sensitive, for picking a lady. That should even override this religious issue that we are talking about. And you look at it, you know, it's so unfortunate how we actually got ourselves to where we are today. As a kid, I knew that Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe in 1979 had a Christian running mate from Kaduna here, in a city known Anchau. His running mate was from Kaduna State, from Anchau here. Azikiwe is a Christian, was a Christian. His running mate was also a Christian. Even Chief Obafemi Awolowo from the south picked a Christian, also picked a southerner, a Christian too, to partner him. Now these are people, these are the founding fathers of our country that we want to emulate, we want to copy from. So what we are trying to do now with these things the people are trying to overbloat, is we are trying to go back to the basics. We are trying to make the people understand that, look, this thing is about governance. It's about making things better for our people. It's about ending poverty, ending insecurity, bringing food security to our people. It's not about religion. I mean, okay, for instance, the roads that Governor Nasir El-Rufai has built in Kaduna State, I mean, Christians are using it, Muslims are using it. And you ask those complaining, what is the difference between now and when Governor Nasir El-Rufai had a Christian deputy? What's the difference? Basically nothing. Instead, you even say it has improved, especially to the area that the deputy came from, the Zone 3. The infrastructures there have improved. The human capital development there has improved. Everything has improved. So what we're trying to say, in summary, what we're saying is that it's not about religion. When you talk about the Constitution never said anything about religion.
Okay, just to some have argued using this constitution because there is a component that said from a few ethnic or other sectional groups, and I checked the definition of what sectional groups in Collins Dictionary, and it says it's about interest of those of a particular group within a community or community. And some have argued that for Christians, for example, they have a common interest. And that is why they feel that this section of the Constitution applies. But not to take away the conversation so that we don't digress and begin to focus on the Christian Muslim issue. And you have raised a number of issues around whether these Muslim tickets or Christian ticket would translate into development. And basically, to your mind, thankfully you're in government, your party is in government currently. What are those issues that you think would shape the 2023 elections in Kaduna in terms of developmental issues? So that let's hear your own thought, because I believe you are the biggest structure of your candidate in Kaduna State.
For now.
And it is expected that you are the people that will go down the grassroots to convince us that we should vote for your candidate or for your party. We would have loved to have other sides to give us a balance, but since you are here, and we hope to have Abdul Bako, who would also call in to share from another component, what are those critical issues that your party wants to champion, aside the fact that we are pushing for a Muslim ticket? Because again, if you listen to the commentary, some say at the national level, probably your party does not have anything to campaign with. And because religion has always been used since colonial era, and it has been inherited by our political elites to ensure that whenever it's election, we leave the issues and we push religion into the mix, so that people that would hitherto not vote a particular candidate for performance would now vote him because of religion. So what are those issues that you would be campaigning and will be looking out for them? Maybe my colleague will take it from there after you respond to the issues.
Actually, we all know the problems we are facing. Insecurity is one of them. There's the poverty aspect of it, where we need to develop our human capital capacity. There is, of course, the present administration is fully taking care of the infrastructural development here in Kaduna State, at least for one. Everybody can attest to that. So I believe that the incoming administration, hopefully, when the distinguished Senator Obasani becomes the governor, hopefully, he will address the issue of insecurity squarely, because you find out that this insecurity is splitting down to other issues. It's leading to food insecurity, scarcity of food. You find out that, for instance, during the last Salah period, the ram that you normally bought for 50, 45,000 went as high as 100, 120,000. It's not that these dairy products aren't there, but because of the insecurity in the land, because people can no longer, the nomads can no longer freely go for their pasturing, it now becomes difficult for them to bring these products into town for people to buy. So the focus will be addressing the insecurity problem of the society for now. And then there's the human capital development, because it's not only saying that the North has a lot of population, they have people, stuff like that. How are you putting that into use? How are you making good use of that population advantage that you have? How do you make it count? I mean, we're tired of people from the South calling the Northerners parasites and stuff like that. We have to find a way to develop, to make use of this population that we have. In terms of agriculture, in terms of education, we get them well educated. Because when you educate people, you get them equipped to give you the very best in whatever thing they are trying to do. So that's the focus for now. We're going to focus on education, youth empowerment, human capital development, and security. And by the time we address this, you will find out that people will now have the opportunity, the freedom, the luxury to go about their businesses, and you will find out that productive capacity of everybody will increase.
Okay, so I think that's a very good place to now lay foundation for what my concern. As you all know, Kaduna population is getting close to 10 million.
Yeah.
70% of which are more than 70% are young people. So it means that you have to create employment, you have to uplift the standard of living. Then we also know that there is rising debt in Kaduna State.
Yeah.
Now, how does the incoming administration intend to get resources to fund developmental issue with this huge burden of debt and with rising population in Kaduna? Because you have talked about education, you have talked about human capital development, you have talked about insecurity. All this requires money, and we know that the debt burden is increasing. There are some that repayment will start next year, there are some that have started. And we know that plenty, even the federal government is finding it difficult now to pay salary, and I'm sure most of the states are doing the same. So how is the incoming administration going to get money resources to fund?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question. In most cases, you find out that the previous administrations, before the advent of Governor Nasir El-Rufai, had probably been over-dependent on the federal allocations and stuff like that. But with this administration of Man Nasir El-Rufai, you find out that there has been increase in the internal generated revenue. You know, most of all, for instance, the malls, the business areas that you are seeing them springing up by the day. These areas, these infrastructures are going to be leased out to people. They are going to pay for it, and then we are going to drive the tax, because you find out that if you check the revenue generation of Kaduna State, you find out there's a lot of increase in tax-related income. And we're going to dwell on that. We're going to make sure that the corporate organizations that are in this area, the corporate entities that are located, that are domiciled in this state, pay the required taxes. And if you look in depth, if you look inwardly, you find out that there are a lot of people who should be, for instance, I know a lot of people living in the GRS for like 10, 15 years. They've not paid their ground rates. These are income generating areas for the government that we are hitherto untapped. People, you see people just allocating lands to their friends and relations without bringing in the commensurate revenue that should come with that. So we are going to look into all those things, into all those areas. Then agriculture too. Agriculture is going to be a very big focus of the incoming administration, because we believe that with the population, you have to make them to be productive, to avoid them becoming tools for mischief makers. You engage them in agriculture. We're also looking at sports. You find out that the distinguished Senator Obosani built a lot of sporting facilities within his senatorial zone, I think about one in each local government. And we're trying to engage the youth in sports, because if you go to, for instance, go to Brazil, if you check the amount of money, the foreign influx, foreign exchange that the Brazil garners from their sportsmen outside the country, you find out that what they get can sustain a state in Nigeria. So we're looking into those areas, hitherto untapped areas, places where people have been neglected, other previous governments have been neglected. We're going to push into that. We're not going to overburden the people with unnecessary, because if you look at it now, even this present administration, the taxes they are generating is not from the low income earners, it's from the multinational companies that are here. And that's what that's why the ticket of Senator Obosani, together with Her Excellency Dr. Hadiza Balarabe Sabwa, will dwell on that. That's why we're talking about continuity, consolidation. So she, being part of the Man Nasir El-Rufai administration, should be able to assist the incoming governor to work on issues further.
Okay. One of the things you talked about in terms of employment generation is agriculture, and we know that it's almost the mainstream of Nigerian economy. It provides the highest number of opportunities for employment. However, with the rising insecurity around Nigeria, especially in Kaduna, we all know that some of the food insecurity that we face today is a result of that insecurity. Now, if you talked about engaging people in agriculture, and it is obvious that a lot of people, we have seen the news, we have heard that even farmers, communities pay bandits to be able to access their farm. So now, it's going to be a big inhibition to whatever program you are having in agriculture. It's going to be very huge. But now we want to look at the security, because you have to solve the security to be able to improve agriculture. we have done everything around insecurity to be able to tackle it. We have bought machineries, we have bought Tucano, we have increased salaries of servicemen, we have employed more. But it looks as if the more effort we put in these security challenges, the worse it becomes. What do you think can be done differently so that we can be able to harness this potential that you are talking about in agriculture in terms of solving the security challenges in Kaduna State?
One thing I would like us to understand is that these people perpetrating all this violence, these bandits, kidnappers, they aren't spirits. They are not ghosts. They are people amongst us. They are people, for whatever reason, that are disenfranchised or stuff like that. They are within us. And some of these, our youths that you see today that are not employed, are the people they are recruiting. So when I tell you that we are trying to engage the youths, it's something that will splinter over to other sectors. It's not about just engage. When you engage these youths, properly engage them, you find out that these bandits, these criminals, will not have their recruitment pots. They won't see people to recruit. And when there are no people to recruit, when there are no people to join them, because you see every day they tell you they killed 200 bandits, they bombed this area, but you keep on seeing more and more and more of them. And that's because they have a pool where they could go and recruit more people. Now, if you tackle that, that's what you go to the roots of the problem, and that is getting the youth engaged. That is the root of the problem. When you get them engaged, you make it difficult for them, for the criminals, to have where to recruit more people. So that's why I'm telling you that we are going to focus on youth engagement, youth empowerment, getting them employed, getting them engaged, getting them educated. Because if you do that, they will assist you to face those bandits. Not only will there not be any other pool for the bandits to recruit from, no, you will now have a willing populace that are willing to cooperate with the government, that are willing to cooperate with the people to make sure that they secure their area. Because you can't tell me that maybe like 4 or 5, for instance, you see a place where 4 or 5 people will come in with some guns and come in and they overpower tens of thousands of people. Now, but if there is that synergy between the people and their youths and the community, you find out that they could be able to start resisting them. And immediately they start resisting them, you find out they start getting decimated.
Okay. I think it's a matter of the chicken and egg, which comes first, because they are recruiting. What timeline do you use to recruit, to empower the youth before they stop going this way? But we'll leave that. My colleague will continue. I know it's the responsibility of political parties, even by design, to be able to mobilize citizens to participate in the electoral process, whether to register for PVC or mobilize them to come out. What is your party doing around? Because we've heard about the person, the citizen who's sensitizing people. But from your political party, what are you doing to raise active citizenship around your membership who participate in the electoral process? Then I can pass to my colleague to continue.
All right. Let me even narrow it down to my group, the Kaduna Response Team. We have, in that Kaduna Response Team, we have the Voter Education Group. Now, this Voter Education Group, they go down to the grassroots to enlighten the people, to make them understand the need to get registered, to get their PVCs, to make sure they vote, because their votes is what determines the type of government they get. If they refuse to vote, they will have to do with whatever thing they get as people that govern them. So the party, the APC as a party, is working. There are plans on ground to bring to make even the National Orientation Agency to wake up. Because if you look at it critically, you find out that we are having the National Orientation Agency, sorry to say, are not really doing it what they are supposed to do in these election campaigns and mobilization and sensitization issues. So we are trying to get in partnership with the National Orientation Agency, bring other splinter groups like the voter mobilization group of the Kaduna Response Team, bring in artists like the one that left here. There is one of the artists we are engaging. He's called Soldier Boy. I think everybody knows him. We're engaging him. We're going to go into the rural areas to sensitize people, to enlighten them on the need for them to get their voters cards and to get to join in the electoral process.
Abdul Samad, one thing that's citizens of the state would want to say about your principal, Senator Obasani, his records, at the House, at the Senate, has shown, especially for people of Kaduna State, what he has brought to the state and all of that. So the citizens of the state are quick to remember that he had worked really hard and seen to it that citizens of the state get some dividends of democracy through what he had brought in. But again, citizens of the state are not also in a hurry to forget some pains that have come with this administration. But give it to Nasir El-Rufai. He had made it very clear that before the gains, the pains will come.
Sure.
And for all of us to see, Kaduna had taken a new look that credit will be given to the present government. But just still talking about what you will go through and your principal may go through is that talking to the people about what pains they had gone through, and even as we get ready towards the journey to 2023, we're still having sacked teachers, we're still having people that have been asked to go, and the demolitions that are taking place in some places, all for good. But how to interpret to the people that this is also for your good, because again, how this may affect your campaigns and how you go about it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very glad you made it clear from the background, from the beginning of your commentary, that there is no pain, no gains without pains. That's it. And the Kaduna State is a cosmopolitan state. People here are enlightened, they are educated. And it should be a bit easier for us to really make them understand that. And there's something, again, we need to point out. Most of the pains that had to be taken before the gains come have already been taken. The places that needs to be demolished have been demolished. People that need to be sacked have been sacked. Now it is the time for the gains. The incoming administration are lucky because it's like Man and Nasir El-Rufai took the bullet. He took the strong decision, the painful decision of stepping on toes, doing things that others felt were undoable. He did it. He took the bullet for this incoming administration. All the insults, all the backlash, all the criticisms, he took it and took those painful decisions. So what I want people to understand now is this is the time for the gains. And there's no any other better person positioned to bring these gains to you than distinguished Senator Obasani, because he has been part of the courting of Man Nasir El-Rufai. So there's no longer going to be any demolitions, probably no more sackings. But then, when you even talk about the issue of sacking, I can't understand why somebody should be aggrieved that you're trying to bring in better quality teachers for our youths, for our pupils in the school. I just can't comprehend that, because I know people that were given teaching jobs during the PDP era as a form of political compensation. I know 2 or 3 people that were teachers that could barely write their names. And that reflects on the type of people, the type of graduates we are producing. You cannot, I can't understand how you are faulting a process that is trying to cleanse the educational sector, which is the backbone of the country. Because if you don't have an educated society, you're in problem. And if you're bringing out half-baked graduates, you're also in a bigger problem. So to cut this short, I believe that this administration, like I said, have done all the, call it dirty jobs, in quotes, of demolishing where it needs to be demolished. Because if you find out most of the places that were demolished, you find out that people were building on the streets, people were erecting structures where they are not supposed to do so. This town, this Kaduna State has a master plan. During the PDP era, I went to the Kaduna, the Kadgis. I went there, I saw the master plan for Kaduna State. This Barnawa that you are seeing here today, if you go to England, there's an area that you see they have almost the same plan with the Barnawa you are seeing here today. But because those the previous administrations felt that they needed to compensate some people, they needed to make some people happy, they needed to do things how people just want it, not the way it's supposed to be done. They went ahead and
So just to say, we don't want you to talk about the other political parties because they are not here to defend themselves.
Yeah, sure.
But you talked about the current government taking most of the
painful decisions,
the painful decisions on behalf of whoever is coming in 2023. And well, that is an asset on one side, and it can also be a liability.
Of course,
because the next government would definitely inherit the liabilities of the current government, and that is where I want to ask the next question. Number one is, yes, it is. If you have a master plan and people's houses are destroyed, that is one part. Then if teachers are sacked, as good as all of those things may be on paper, the reality is that the government or the governor or the president swore to an oath to protect the security, particularly the welfare of the people. So if you're pushing, for example, a large number of people out of jobs, that they are not qualified or for whatever reasons you have done so, is on one side. But on the second part, you are also responsible for their welfare. These people are definitely, without an alternative, going to fall into poverty, because that means that you have taken away from them is what keeps them put food on their table, feeds pay school fees for their children, and a lot of other issues that you have to look at. That because why I'm bringing this into context is that these people might end up also being inside the same pool where bandits can recruit, or their children can resort to going into criminalities because their means of livelihood and welfare has been taken away. So is it not that there should be a balance between, yes, we are removing you out of a job, but we are immediately giving you a social protection cover to ensure that you don't fall into poverty or vulnerability and end up becoming a social risk to the society? So that's one component of the liabilities that or whoever wins would have to look at. Then secondly, we have seen the urban renewal projects, and we also have the issue of the $350 million loan. And these loans are definitely loans that would pay back. And you have talked about the big businesses. I just want you to ask that globally, we have seen that the highest contributors to revenue are the micro and small medium businesses. And these are the businesses that we have not seen blossom in Kaduna State. And I'll give you an evidence. If you check the revenue breakdown of Kaduna State, you see that this segment contributes insignificantly to our revenue base. That is one. Then two, a large chunk of our revenue for 2022 is coming from tax audit arrears, which is backlog of money. So it's not as a result of current economic growth or economic activities that a large chunk of our revenue is coming. Because then you also look at the tax codification law that also allows the state to collect revenue on behalf of the local government, which the state government declares. So if you do an analysis of the revenue that we have said has increased, you now see that it might not really give you the exact improvement that we're looking at for. Then for the loan, in 2022, we are going to start paying the World Bank loans and other loans, and servicing that debt is about 12 billion naira. That is 31% of what the government is expecting to generate in 2022. If you look at 2023, it is being projected that debt services will go to almost 15%, and it increases like that. So I'm just talking of liabilities that your government, whichever government is coming. So what do you have to say about this reality? Because number one, if you have done so much around education, health, and what have you, let's go and look at the outcome results. Number one, poverty is still 43%, which is above national. unemployment and underemployment in Kaduna State is 67%, above national. Inflation in Kaduna State is still around 16, hovering at 7, according to the Kaduna Bureau of Statistics. So these are the realities you are coming to me. So it's not as if, and don't forget, FAC, federal allocation, is reducing. There's even the argument whether even the Kaduna State by FAC can begin to even pay salary, because it's even affecting federal, not talk of Kaduna. So with all of these realities, what is your government or your candidate, or what issues are you going to face to ensure that you address, one, the issue of the welfare of the people that have been affected by the destruction of their properties or the dismissal? As a fact, if you look at the public service revitalization and renewal project that is under which this downsizing is happening, there are conditions that you still see that the state government has not met before putting these people out. So these are issues that we want you to share your thoughts on.
First of all, let me correct the narrative that it was a destruction. It wasn't a destruction. Okay. It was something that needed to be done to bring things back the way. It's sort of a reconstruction. Okay. So there's a difference between reconstruction and destruction. When you destroy something,
okay, I take you. So we just go straight to the.
Thank you very much for that. So, of course, definitely, during the reconstruction process, there will be victims. There will be collateral damages. So, but then you are dwelling on the pains. You're not dwelling on when you talk about welfare. You said, how are we going to take care of the welfare of all those that we are sacked, blah, blah, blah. You forget that welfare is not all about money.
Yeah.
Welfare is about infrastructure, also is part of welfare. So they too are enjoying that welfare. Because what was happening before was that a very few people, because you check all these people you're talking about, they're being said, how many percentage of our population are civil servants? You're not putting that into perspective.
How about their families, their children?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
But you look at the higher, because whatever thing you're doing, you look at which one gets higher. You look at which one gives you a better result. Will you rather satisfy 2% of your population and then dissatisfy the 98%? Or would you rather do the opposite? So when you're saying all this, they sack this, they do that, you're not thinking about how many percentage of the populations are civil servants. But now these infrastructures you're talking about, which is part of the welfare we should be talking about, is being enjoyed by everybody. You're a civil servant, you're a trader, you are a student, you are enjoying the welfare. So welfare, let's not look at welfare as all about money and whatever goes into your pocket. It should be about things that it should be about things that really makes life easier, makes life happier. You have better schools now, you have better hospitals now. All these things are welfare. Now, but then if you want to treat treat those that were sat in isolation, now I'll tell you that for instance, I am aware that the incoming administration, God willing, of Senator Obasani has plans, because we are gathering the data of all those that lost their job. It doesn't matter whether you got that job legitimately or not. The problem now is that you are out of job. So we have to get their statistics. We find out a way of getting them engaged. You can train them on trading, skill acquisition. So we are bringing in those, we are gathering that data. And I believe that by the time the new administration comes aboard, all those things will start coming into effect. You will see them, you will see when they will be announced that, these people that were sacked, blah, 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 some are being trained, some are being given capital to start businesses, depending on where the area the person wants to go into. So these are things that are for the future. They are not things that you start talking about now. And then, as you all know, of course, whatever thing that you do, whatever repairs that you do, it's not immediately that you start getting the dividends. For instance, let me tell you another thing. You're talking about all these infrastructures you are seeing now, these great edifices you are having all over the states. These are things that attracts foreign investors. So we are now we should not be looking at it like, okay, what do we have on ground now? It should be looking at, because it's all about projections. You believe that when you solve, why you haven't started seeing these foreign influx of started seeing the influx of foreign investors here is because of the insecurity problem. And that's why we are concentrating on that. We're going to solve that. By the grace of God, we're going to solve that. Solve the insecurity problem today. And I will tell you that by the next 2-3 years, you will not have the need to even service those. You will start paying those debts you're talking about.
So just on the insecurity, what would your candidate do differently? Because this current government from 2016 till now, based on our calculation, has spent almost 29 or so billion naira in terms of allocation to security. Under first the SSG's office and now Ministry for Internal Security and Home Affairs. So what will you do if, because we've brought in technology,
much as I would not like to let the cat out of the bag, because we are talking about security issues, I'm not supposed to bring out our plans to public space, because of course those we are trying to tackle are also listening. But I also tell you that we are talking about a new government. And if you even look at it, if the government at the top had followed the template the state governor presented to them, would have probably gotten over these insecurity issues. So thankfully, we're going to have a new government at the top. We're going to have a new government at the states. So the whole approach will definitely change.
So the blame is on the national government.
Of course, it should be. They are the ones. Okay. They are the ones in charge of the security.
No, it's good to hear it from you.
I'm making it clear. I have no apologies for that. I have no apologies for that, because my governor here has tried the very best he can. The Commissioner for Internal Security, Honorable Samuel Aron, have tried the very best he can, and everybody is putting everything they could do to stop this. But then when the those at the top are not giving you the needed support, you find it's very difficult, because security, of course, is exclusively for the federal government. So they are going to there's going to be a new plan, which I'm not supposed to let out of the bag, because we're talking about security issues.
All right. The agenda.
So we also have Abdul Bako before we go.
Okay. All right. On the line with us, Sean.
Hello, are you with us? It's not okay. You can go on.
Okay. We're still trying to bring Abdul Bako on board.
He's on.
Okay.
So go on.
Can't get him. But again, quickly, let's also get the conversation to the audience there. You've been listening to us, the agenda, and of course, Abdul Samad Chima Ahmadi, spokesperson for the Kaduna response team of the Uba Sani campaign, sharing thoughts about what Uba Sani has in plans for the people of Kaduna State. Lend your voice too. Let's get to hear your questions here. And also streaming live on our Facebook page. Join us in Victor 98.9. Drop your comments. Let's get to hear you. It's all in preparation to 2023, and of course, what we want for 2023, and save Nigeria from the brink. Okay, the phones are ringing. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guest.
Yes.
I was calling you from Malali this morning.
Good morning.
I welcome all the guests in the studio. My first question goes to the Uba Sani person over there in the studio. Now that the school fees of Castle, Capital School, and some other schools has been increased in Kaduna State, and the common man that he was agitating to enjoy their own government, they are not enjoying it. In Capital School now, it's on 50,000. Castle almost 200,000, and the salary minimum wage in Kaduna State is 30,000. How did he change that? His government, if possible, they come on board, they are going to elevate the common man so that they can continue with their education in Castle and some other tertiary institutions under this Kaduna State, and other primary schools. That is one, and secondary schools. That is one. The second one is still talking on agriculture. We all know that with the recent insecurity, has already plunged a lot of farmers out of their own farm. And he has already made it clear, he is not going to let the cat out of the bag. And he said that El-Rufai has a template which the federal government did not follow. Now, I'm asking him, and he said that the federal government, they are not giving them the adequate support that is from the federal government in order to either eliminate or eradicate this menace of insecurity. Why is he confidently, or what is it that he's thinking that he's going to give the federal government that will come that power to cooperate with his own government so that they will eliminate this current insecurity in Kaduna State? Finally, and the last, the issue of Muslim tickets. He said it does not matter. So now I want to ask him, in this present government, can he give us the statistic of contracts being carried out under this government of El-Rufai? And who are those people that dominated the contract under this administration? Please, we would like it open so that people are listening, they will know whether the percentage of Muslims and that of Christians that got contracts and other appointments under this administration is equal. Because Kaduna State people are agitating is almost 50-50. So that is my question. Good morning, Nigeria.
That's okay. We got you on that. Still with your calls. All right. Okay. All right. That was Pius there, but okay. Immediate response to that. Yes. Okay. All right. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Alago.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Andres. We want to see Famoto calling from Kaduna.
Okay. All right.
God bless you.
Okay.
Number one, I want to ask your guest, especially from both the sitting government of APC and the present coming up government of APC, as they rightly said. You see, my brother, I want to ask you, as a parent has rightly said also, that in agriculture, you people promise us that we should go back to farm. My brother or my sister, I hope you are in Kaduna State. Do you recorded how many people being murdered in Kujama farm? Let me not come mentioning their names one by one. Those are Nigerian farmers. Those are Kaduna indigenous farmers. Did you also record that the Biningware is no-go area? Can you both the sitting governor and the upcoming, as you said, can they also go there without escort? Even the Commissioner of Internal Security, who always campaign and tell us how many numbers of people in Kaduna State our enemies have been killed, and refuse to also name the number of the enemies arrested and the number of our enemies that the government has been executed for killing the citizens of Kaduna State. I want also to tell you that Greenfield University has been shut down because of insecurity. Are you also aware that some people that have been kidnapped their corpse are always going to back of a farm to pick the corpse with a phone number and that go there and see God. And also the sitting government are aware of all these things. The answer is yes or no. Because some of us registered our SIM card so that we can track all those, stop this kind of situation we are into. But till today, my brother, we have CC cameras being all over Kaduna State. Both the working ones and the one that is not working. We have cars here, we have jets here. See yet, Kaduna people are being kidnapped every day by day. What are you now going to tell us? Is your government fail or not? Thank you and God bless you. If you can give me a good
all right, Chief. All right, we'll take one more call. All right. Okay, hello, good morning. Yes, morning.
Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Engineer Emmanuel.
Engineer Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think your guests have spoken very well, but I have some few questions to ask him. He made a statement that the best choice that His Excellency made is to bring Obasani on board to continue with the work he's doing. I want to ask him, I remember vividly the same governor told us that the person that he will endorse will do worse than the demolition he does. Is that an achievement? That somebody will say that you will even do worse than that. I think he made that statement in Zaria, if I'm not mistaken. Then, do you think what they will come and campaign come 2023? I'm not disputing, we saw some infrastructure on ground, the road and this, I'm not disputing that. But the people are their life better now or before now. Because I know how Kaduna, I was born and brought up here, I know how Kaduna is, or how Kaduna looks like. But today, what will be the score or the pass mark on situation on ground? We are generating revenue, and I stand to be corrected. The loan collected, the billions of naira that now will be paid in the next 50 years, I'm paying for loan that I did not get dividends of democracy. Now they say urban renewal. There are other places that have not gotten any dividends of democracy. And now those same people now will be paying the same loan. Now have they given us accountability so far? The loan they collected and the revenue they are generating. How far so far? But we need accountability. An issue of insecurity of affairs. The governor says they know where these people are. And sometimes they begin to say they are not the chief security officer. But during the election, they control the security apparatus to their own favor. So why can't they control them to go after those criminals that are adopted? Look at Binungwari, it's no-go area. And during those many years back, you can travel to Binungwari 12 a.m. without any fear. But today, in the broad daylight, it's no-go area. And we are told that election may not even hold in that address. Now, is it competent or incompetent now that is playing out, that people could not sleep with their two eyes closed? Because I remember vividly again, they told us that it was due to incompetency that made the previous...
Okay, Engineer Emmanuel, we'll have to... Yeah, just... we heard you. Yes.
It was due to incompetency that did not allow the previous administration to do what they...
We got you on that, Engineer Emmanuel. Let's just quickly, again, on our Facebook page, what's coming out?
All right, what's coming out is we have a comment from Amai Boniface, says, good morning to you all. What this country stands for is justice, fairness, and equity. And... I'm trying to get that, but I'll just keep that. I'm trying to get it. But Yakubu Awan says religion has become an endemic in our society already. Religion is mentioned in our constitution, but one-sided. If I may ask, why the assertion that there is no competent person within the Christian folk? That's a question he's asking. Tocho Bunda says, good morning, Mr. Tualabi. He says, you cannot take away religion in Nigerian politics, but both the APC and PDP have nothing to offer to Nigeria. That's his take this morning. And Ibrahim Kedioke says, okay, doing a great job. Venerable Eziagu says, what is the difference between sections, diversity, read in our constitution, which religion somebody wanted to in consideration? I'm trying to make headway with that. This one is from Tucho Bunda, says youth empowerment from the APC is a fake and a political statement like the more you look the less you see. Education is down, insecurity everywhere, killing and kidnapping, demolitions of markets, etc. Says Mr. Chima Madi, directing it to you, is a politician. He will do everything to do. All right, well that's
all right.
Then there's one Amax Ibo says, what plans are apart from Bernawa in Kaduna South? We are again that the roads and other infrastructure has been made. Sir, expect us to know how to put our mouth together and utter. Oh well, I don't know what. Jude Eze, that's the last one. Says good morning, Victor. It says. We're talking about PVC. To me, PVC is not the main problem, but rigging. Which assurance do we have that our vote is going to count? Jude Eze from Narai and Femi Victor Adeojo says, good morning. Please, to the APC spokesperson, I disagree with the first female vice statement. Tinubu had a female vice in 1999, but she resigned. Secondly, he said Azikiwe had a Christian vice. then, yes, but they didn't practice the religious politics and marginalized politics, so he can't say APC is trying to emulate them. I disagree. Well, that's his take.
Okay, let's just come to you, Mr. Nad.
Well, I've seen the barrage of questions from my people, and of course it's expected. It's expected. We are not oblivious of the fact that things are not as easy as we wanted them to be, and we are not saying that people are not going through hard times. We're not saying that things are not hard. We all know that we go to the same markets, we go to the same hospitals and stuff like that. We are aware of that. But then, in all this, you always try to look at the positives from every angle. You try to be optimistic rather than being pessimistic. But let me start from the people that called in. Somebody was talking about the agriculture and Brunengwari axis security and stuff like that. Like I said before, the focus, the main focus of this incoming administration is going to be tackling insecurity. Because if you tackle insecurity, two of those things is you tackle insecurity, you get the youths employed, get them engaged. Because if you get the youths engaged and get fully employed, you break the link between them and the recruitment process of these bandits and kidnappers. So there won't be any place for them to recruit people and do all the bad things they are doing. So with that, you can see that you've taken care of unemployment and you've taken care of insecurity at the same time. And when you do that, you find that there will be improvement in agriculture. We really want this insecurity issue to go away because it's costing the state a lot. It's costing the federal government a lot. Like I told you before, without these insecurities, probably by now we would have started seeing the foreign investors that this government hoped to attract with the improvement in the infrastructural things that we have in Kaduna State. But with what has been keeping them back is this insecurity issue, and that's why it's going to be a focal point. It's going to be very an important agenda for the incoming administration. Somebody talked about the Muslim ticket and how it affects contract awards and stuff like that in the government. Let me let that person know that there is the due process. There's the due process office in the Kaduna State House. He can go there. You are free to invoke your freedom of information powers to get all information you want about all these contracts. For me personally, I don't consider the idea of giving. I don't know, how do we got to this? We're even thinking about the contract, who is it awarded to, a Christian or a Muslim. You're not talking about the quality of the job that person is going to deliver. That should be that. You see why I like what you people are doing about the focus-based campaigns, the issue-based campaigns, not all these pedestrian issues. Somebody should be worried about the quality of the job the contractor is doing, about the quality of the goods he is supplying, rather than about his religion, his tribe. He said, come on, that's absurd. But then, we are who we are, and all of us cannot be the same. There are diverse people, and everybody has his or her own ways of thinking. So, but I will tell this person to go to invoke his or her freedom information powers and get the information about these contracts, and if there's anything that he feels that we aren't done properly, he's at liberty to take it up with the government. Then there's the statement they were talking about as his Man Nasru saying his successor will do. You see, people say things or interpret things the way they want to. And I know that what Man Nasru El-Rufai said is that his successor will do more than he has done. That was the word he used. My successor will do more than I have done. And that could be more better work. Why are you looking at it from the negative aspect? Why are you thinking it's about demolitions, it's about sacking people? Why not look at it that, okay, my successor will